there are people out there that will tell you that this weekend in college football, you can kind of take off. You don't need to watch the games. There's a bunch of dumb games out there. SEC's playing a bunch of no-name teams, okay? And that is true. But there is a huge game in the ACC, Pitt at Georgia Tech. This is riddled with ACC title hope conversations, with playoff hope conversations, a lot of ramifications for this football game. Before we jump into this one, go ahead and subscribe down below and follow at Ian Fritts Show on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. And we are going to dive right into this preview. I always start with the visiting team. That would be the Pittsburgh Panthers in this one. What do we know about the Pittsburgh Panther football team? What we know is that offensively, defensively, they are a balanced football team, okay? They have a top 30 offense in the entire country, mainly due to the passing attack with Mason Heinschel, okay? They can rip it through the air, kind of struggle a little bit on the ground, but it's still a top 30 unit. And then they have the top 30 defense in the entire country. So it is a balanced football team. There's not one thing that will stand out to you when you watch this football team offensively or defensively. You say, hey, that offense is way better than their defense, and their defense is way better than that offense. No. It's very balanced. It needs to be balanced on Saturday if you want to win the football game. Against Notre Dame, Fighting Irish for Pitt, you look at where they struggled, it was on both sides of the football, really. They were just outmatched, outgunned against Notre Dame in that one. That cannot be the case on Saturday against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. And this is an interesting one, ladies and gentlemen, because both of these teams have shown against higher competition, mainly Pitt because they played the best team either of these teams have faced in Notre Dame. But when they've played a better team, they've shown struggles. They've struggled a little bit. NC State, ladies and gentlemen, might be the best team that Georgia Tech has faced all year long. And who won that game? Yep, it was NC State. Okay, so when they've played a better level of competition, both of these teams have struggled. But they're playing each other on Saturday night. So it really doesn't matter what they've done against better competition. But that Pitt balanced attack, excluding the Notre Dame game, needs to continue on Saturday if they want to win the game against Georgia Tech and if they want to keep their ACC title game hopes alive. For Pitt, you can't just win both games and be in the title game. You need some help from Virginia to lose next week against Virginia Tech. You need some help if you're a Pittsburgh Panther fan. Biggest question for Pitt in this one. Heinschel, quarterback, true freshman, struggled a bit last week against Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish kind of rattled him a little bit. He struggled. He looked like a true freshman out there. Hey, it happens. It happens when you're a young gun. Now, the question, this is his biggest road environment test so far in his career. This has ACC title game implications, playoff expectations, playoff implications. How does Mr. Heinschel handle the pressure? Does he handle it well? He didn't handle it well last week against Notre Dame. Kind of threw some balls right to Notre Dame. Just basically handed it to him. Is that going to be the same case on Saturday night? It cannot be if you want to win this football game, if you're the Pittsburgh Panthers, ladies and gentlemen. So the script for Pitt in this one is, number one, they need to attack downfield. Georgia Tech has been susceptible to some vertical passing attacks this season. Number two, they need to contain Haynes King. That is the best player on the field. That is the best player probably on both teams as of right now, as of today. You need to keep Haynes King in the pocket, make him beat you through the air. If he beats you through the air, hey, you can live with that. Do not let him have 250 yards passing and then 100 yards rushing. You cannot have that if you're Pitt on Saturday. Georgia Tech, what do we know about the Yellow Jackets? Number one, I guess I'm going to say that they know how to win. I think that's what I know about Georgia Tech right now. You look at, they've had 4 close games this season. They beat Clemson close, they beat Wake Forest close, they beat Duke close, and then last week they beat 1-8 Boston College on a last-second field goal. Okay, so I guess they know how to win. We can say that this Georgia Tech team, whatever it might look like, whatever it is, they know how to win. Unfortunately, a lot of the time, it is ugly, and I think to myself, this is a bad football team, masquerading as a good football team. The second thing we know about the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, Haynes King is the best player on the field. I mentioned it a second ago with Pitt's keys to the game. You got to contain Haynes King. He is the best player on the field for Georgia Tech. He needs to be the best player on the field for Georgia Tech to win this football game. It's going to be a tight game. You're playing comparable, a similar level of competition on Saturday night. So you need to have your best player be your best player and have him rise to the occasion. He's done it all year long. When you need him the most, Haynes King delivers. Okay, he needs to deliver on Saturday night. Biggest question for Georgia Tech. This really has nothing to do with anything statistically or any players in particular, any game plans. This just has to do with Georgia Tech and the fact that they can't keep getting away with it, right? The question is, when does it end? When does it end? When does the nation find out that this Georgia Tech team they're not a good football team? They are not a good football team. And you're thinking, they're 10-1, Ian. They're a good football team. They're a good football team, Ian. No, they're not. No, they're not. Watch this team play. Other than Haynes King, this team stinks. They are not good at football. When does it end? Selfishly, I'm kind of hoping it ends on Saturday night so that we can just be over with this Georgia Tech discussion, even though they still have a chance to make the ACC title game, even if they lose. But I'm done with Georgia Tech right now. But the script for them is Haynes King. He's got to be the best player on the field. He has to rise to the occasion like he's done all year. He needs to do it again to lift Georgia Tech in this one. The pick for this game, maybe it's a bad pick just because I'm selfish and I want Georgia Tech to lose so that we can finally put this thing to rest. But I'm going to take Pitt to win and Pitt to cover. If you wouldn't mind, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and subscribe down below and follow at Ian Fritts Show on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. I love you guys.
Michigan State's Jalen Watts Jackson, and he scores on the last play of the game.
45, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis.
Oh, my God.
Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game.